Kia ora e te whānau. Okay, so part 7 I believe we're up to with this little guy, and I have just stolen a page out of here that I want to use today. It will need to be a card, not a paper, for what we're going to do. I want to make a little hidden writing spot. You know me and my hidden writing spots. Okay, so if we put that to the side, all I have done in preparation so far, and I'll try and speed up anything that's obvious, is cut another piece of card that is pretty much the identical size as one side of this. The only difference is I may have shaved off like 2 millimeters here so that it doesn't sit flush in there and bulk up our journal too much. And the other thing I have done is cut strips that are 3 centimeters width and longer than that. Okay, and the reason is because we need to make 2 of these. Okay, so I've made one to go on the bottom so that I can speed things up and not show you things twice, but I have left the other one. So again, pieces that are longer, all I have done is grabbed one and folded it around like that and trimmed a little bit off each of those edges. And this guy here needs to be just maybe a couple of millimeters shorter than that second fold. Okay, so if I bring that out a little bit, and give that one a chop there. Now this will be seen slightly, whereas these guys won't. So just, yeah, it's card, but it's not particularly thick card. This is slightly thicker, I would say. Okay, so then all you need to do is trim these a little bit. And glue this guy onto here. And then all I did was grabbed a piece of card that's only 2 centimeters. And the thinner the better, so I wouldn't go thicker than that. I think we'll try and get away with this. And then I have just, well, first of all I just made sure that that was 90 degrees, and then I just folded around both. Okay, that gives us just a little bit of room so that that should slide beautifully. Now, we do want this side up. We want that mechanism in there to be as smooth as possible and nothing to get in the way. Okay, so next step is we are going to glue these onto here like that. Okay, there we go. Sorry if my camera's a little bit shaky today. I have my charger cord connected to it, and every time I knock it, it might shake you guys around just a little bit. So, okay, now what we want to do is we want to slide these as far to the left as we possibly can. We want to add some glue. And then we want to carefully put this guy on as neatly as we possibly can. Now, feel free to have inked those little white runners, I'll call them runners. So then what we're going to do is we're going to decorate this front. I just have an old postcard that I want to put on there, but I might put some things on the back too, so bear with me. And that's going to be a pocket. Then I'm going to put a tab on here, and that guy will slide out to reveal some secret writing space. Okay, so I shall just get some little bits and pieces that I might want to use in the back of this, and I shall be back. Okay, so all you missed while I was away talking to myself, because I hadn't pushed record on the camera, is that I decided I'd put some writing space there because that's a blank postcard. It's a perfect little place to do some journaling. So I'm just going to make that a little flip out instead. So then you're going to have space to write there, and you're going to have some space to write there. Now, I was explaining to myself how I decorate pages. So if you think of a border, I usually, rather than just plonk something there in the corner, which I do sometimes if it's decorated enough anyway, is I usually make my clusters and my decoration the shape of a corner, and it will taper out down here and it will taper out up there. So it would be that kind of shape, if that makes sense. So I have this great thing, so I thought I might use a little bit of that just because it is a fantastic colour. So I want that kind of shape, and I will put that up there. Okay, just take a little bit more of that out because I don't want to block too much of the writing space. And then I would get something like this to potentially put over the top of that. So I just want to get rid of those words, so I'll fast forward this. There we go. And then we're going to have this guy just here. I do feel like that just needs just a little bit just to stand out from the note paper in the background because they're both very similar colours. And I might also just grab another teeny tiny little transfer just to put down there, like I said, for the balance. Something like that. I need to find my faux yellow tape. I have a tutorial. If you go to my home page, all of my tutorials should be organised under sections. So junk journal flip throughs, come craft with me's, and any of the tutorials that I do are in the Come Craft With Me, so you should be able to find one if you want on how to make faux yellow tape. Might pop that up the top so that you can see either or. Okay, so I'll just find some yellow tape. Now this is the kind of thing, this is why I find it so hard to craft along with me. It's because you might think I'm finished and then I find something else that I want to do. So I've just decided that I want just a little bit of text just to see how that makes a difference. It's just extending that shape corner, if that makes sense. But I go back and forth, back and forth. So I went to try and find my faux yellow tape, and I do bucket loads of faux yellow tape, but this is all I could find that I have pre-made. So I'm just going to slide that out of there just a little bit so that I can pop that on there. So I'm just going to put some of this there as well. There we go. Like I say, I'm probably going to just put a little tab here just to keep that closed. So we'll see how we go with that. Now, because I've changed the plan and this was going to be a pocket, I can no longer put a folded tab around this edge, because if I do, that's not going to open, but I need something in order to pull that. So we could just use a little bit of crochet, or we can put a tab on that is only going to sit on that side rather than fold around. So I'm going to use this. Once that dries, we should be right. Okay, so some sort of little tab there. So I'm just going to punch out a circle out of card of some sort, and then we'll make a little tab for that. Okay? Okay, so this required a little bit of thinking because I don't want the brad to sit under here, because if I want it down here, it's going to interfere with that mechanism. So, and I didn't want to put it up there because that's going to interfere with your writing space. Okay, so I'm going to want something to use to pull it so it's not too fiddly. So we're just going to put that on here. We're going to want a little brad, and I am going to want to put a hole quite small, because I don't want the brad to be too loose at the bottom there. through there. I might just trim those legs a little bit because they're going to be quite hard to hide. Squish those little guys down. So that now we can move that, and we don't want, oh, it shouldn't matter actually, because the hole should be enough to allow us to move that. And we just want to put that there. And it should allow us to hold that closed. Now you can do that however you want. There must be simpler ways to do that. That's just what I wanted to do. And it's another little function, another little closure that you could use in your journals anyway, so I don't see the harm in putting that on there. Okay, so this is done. Now we need to work on this guy. Now you could decorate these a little bit. I might put some stamping and echo this again on here. It does need to be flat, obviously, whatever we put on, so it's got to be stamping or nothing that's going to get in the way or bulk that up any further. Okay, so I will just do this little part in silence because it is simply just sticking on transfers, etc. Okay, and I have some manuscript paper here that I feel would look quite cool in there. Just trimmed that off because again I don't want it to interfere with the mechanism and slide up under there. Same glue I always use, just like Fabri-Tac but cheaper to get here in New Zealand. Here we go. Now I don't necessarily think that needs any decoration because you've got the top and bottom and it is a secret little spot. You could put something down here, but again it needs to be reasonably flat because it's going to be covered by that. So there you go, a secret little writing spot that someone will come across. If we put it in here, and you've got plenty of writing space in there. Close that up. There we go. Cool. Hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully the video wasn't too long, but it is quite a complex little interactive writing spot, and I will see you next time for part 8. Okay, my lovelies. Ka kite. Love you guys.